brain is going to explode with questions and concerns about parenting, education, and what is right for you and your child.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Mindful Mummies podcast. I'm Bree.
And I'm Stina.
And we're sisters-in-law with backgrounds in education, and combined we have 5 very busy boys.
Our hope is to create a community for parents where we can learn, laugh, and support each other.
We'll be joined by special guests who inspire us and bring different perspectives to the table.
Thanks for joining us. Hello, today we are joined on the podcast by Andrea Delf, the branch manager of Mamas for Mamas Vancouver. Mamas for Mamas is a national charitable organization that supports mothers and caregivers in crisis by providing ongoing support to individuals and families facing various poverty-related struggles. Their mission is to change the landscape of poverty through innovative approaches to financial barriers faced by struggling families. On this episode, we learn all about this amazing organization, and Andrea offers information and suggestions for ways that mamas who may need a hand up can reach out. Also, how mamas who would like to help out can get involved. And then we finish up with some hopes and dreams for the Mamas for Mamas organization. We hope you enjoy learning a little bit more about this very special group of women and how they are helping so many people. Hi, Andrea. Welcome to the Mindful Mummies podcast. We are so excited to have Andrea, the branch manager of Mamas for Mamas in Vancouver, here with us today. Welcome.
Hi. Good morning. Thanks for having me, you guys.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
We thought maybe we could just start off with you letting our listeners know, for listeners that don't know a lot about Mamas for Mamas, a bit about the organization and what it does, and then your story of how you came to work with them.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll start with my story, I guess. So my daughter was born in 2011. I have a son as well. He's almost 12. After she was born, I was a stay-at-home mom at that time. I had been a stay-at-home mom since my son was born. And anyway, I felt really like, I don't know, it was a tough time for me because I kind of lost my purpose a little bit. She was a very hard baby. She was colicky. She didn't sleep. She had separation anxiety, so I couldn't give her to anybody. It was really hard. And so, I don't know, one day I just decided to start a charity online. So I literally hopped onto Facebook, started a group called Covered in Love. And what that for me meant was like, cause I had all these, if you guys have girls out there, you understand the clothes that comes with having a girl. You get all these beautiful little clothes, right? Yeah. So she had all these clothes hanging up in her closet with tags on. And I thought, man, like, there's got to be people out there who need these, you know? So I started Covered in Love one day in April. And it basically became a Facebook page where you could just hop on and join and post things that you need for yourself, for your child, whatever, or post things that you have. And so I did that, and it grew fairly quickly. I realized there was nothing else like that out there right now. And so it was good. It was fun. I used to, my son was in school. So when I would throw my daughter into the car and we would rip around and do deliveries and stuff like that. My house kind of became a little bit of a thrift store, like a drop-off place. So that's kind of how that went.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. And then, and then, I proceeded to go back to school and, did some things and stuff. And then my daughter started kindergarten. And, in 2018, I met Anna from Mamas for Mamas as well. And her and I were someone from Delta Assist who I was connected with through my charity. Anna had started volunteering for Vancouver. At this point, Vancouver was strictly online, right? Like no one knew about it. It was very Shannon from Kelowna, the CEO, had flown out here, met Anna, and they had sort of talked about, expanding to Vancouver online. And so anyway, Tara from Delta Assist said, hey, you guys need to meet. So we met, we had a glass of wine, and here we are. That's how Anna and I came together that way. And then from there, what's interesting, you guys, is that Shannon, the CEO, and I both started an online charity doing the same thing at the same time.
Wow. No way.
In the same month.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
Those really straight.
Wow.
Yeah, she was collecting stuff in her garage, and she just saw all these gaps, right? She wanted to fill them. And so anyway, Mamas for Mamas Vancouver was then kind of born, but it was only online. So for those of you that don't know, we have a Facebook page in every city: Vancouver, Richmond, South Delta, North Delta, and such. Yeah. And much like what I was doing, you join, and then you can post things that you need or post things that you have. So that started, and then we have our Instagram page, which is mamas4mamas.vancouver. And we're just sort of growing. We were growing so rapidly. And then we were blessed enough to be able to open up our office in October. So our office is in Richmond. And what that looks like is basically you guys have been there because you've come and dropped off your candles.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful space.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we really love it there. It's cozy and it feels safe for people, which is what our main goal was. It smells beautiful because of your candle. No, I'm kidding. People always comment on it.
Really? Oh, that's so
cool. Yeah, all the time.
That's so nice to hear.
Yeah. Funny. So our clients can hop online and book an appointment. Right now we're doing 3 a day. We have to clean in between and stuff like that. And basically mamas who need some support for whatever reason that might look like, they come in and we can just kind of gather some things for them, like diapers, formula, candles, like all that self-care stuff. We've got so many partnerships and so many amazing donors in our life. We feel like, really blessed for that, for that to be a place that people can come in and ultimately kind of shop, if you will, and take, we have limitations and stuff, of course, but, we have a room with clothing and shoes and so many different things like underwear and bras and stuff. And then we have a baby room with all the things for little kids. And then our birthday party room, which is, just full of gifts for parents who need a gift for their child or something. So that's sort of, what in a nutshell. And then we have a social worker now, Chelsea, who definitely is someone who can come in and kind of take on some of those bigger cases, those more complex cases. So yeah, she's amazing.
Amazing.
So,
And so how do mamas find you guys? I think we, like Stina and I, before we sort of got on here, we just chatted and said, we really want to be able to reach out to, first of all, the moms that are listening that may be able to help, but also the moms that are listening that might need some help. Yeah. And so how can people find you guys?
Well, they can find us online. So I feel like most people nowadays have Instagram, but there are definitely some that don't. So our Instagram page is a good one. But I would say, so depending on the needs of the person, like I said, our Facebook pages are pretty active. We have like over 17,000 members like throughout the Lower Mainland. So if you needed something like a stroller or whatever, you could post for that on there. For accessing us to our office, they could call our office. Maybe we can link up the number here later. Yeah. And then our email, our main email is yvr@mamasformamas.org. So they can also email us as well. So I would say those are the two best, easiest ways, like more immediate ways to get a hold of us. Yeah.
Okay.
We were also sort of thinking, like, if there's, we have moms or parents or caregivers out there listening who are sort of in this place where they're not sure if they should reach out, or if they're feeling like nervous to reach out or embarrassed,
or maybe they don't think their case is as bad as somebody who would need to reach out.
Yeah. Right. What kind of sort of advice would you give to someone listening who's in a place where like, oh, I could really use some help, but I'm not sure?
Oh, I would say come over. Just come over. We hear that so often. Like it's hard because we, like you guys know, we try to create that really safe space, and there's no judgment on our end ever, like ever. I actually feel really, it takes courage to reach out and ask for help. And we've all been in a place, whether it's financial or emotional poverty, we've all been there. Like we had someone come in once who just needed a break and handed us her baby and went into the other room and like did some phone calls and some emails and stuff like that. So it looks differently for everybody. Some people might be able to put food on their table and buy their kids a new pair of shoes, but they are in an abusive relationship and they need to talk to someone and get some help, right? So it really does look differently. And I would say to anyone, like, to just come in, because we'll always have their backs no matter what. And we will make sure that they leave feeling differently than when they came in.
I would love to hear, I don't know if you have just some stories, and I think that it's really important for our listeners to hear some of the stories, because it really broadens your understanding of what is going on in our society. And I know that we've listened now to a recent podcast that you just did, and both of us were just in tears listening to some of the stories, and it made us just want to do more and help more and use whatever platform we have to bring awareness to the incredible work that you guys are doing, but also what's going on in our world right now and
in our immediate community, like in Vancouver, right? Like, I mean, many parts of Vancouver are very wealthy, but many parts are not. And it depends, you know, what's happening in your life. And I know it's not just money. There's two conversations and two things that you guys use: support, poverty, and mental health. But I think, like, for us, we had a conversation where we're like, you know, we just go about our busy day to day. We've got 5 boys between us. We've got our business. I'm teaching. Like, we're busy. And we don't always stop to think. And so like researching for this podcast and researching about Mamas for Mamas, it's made us stop and think and think about the bigger picture of what's going on, not only in our community, but in the world. And I think that people get so wrapped up in the busyness and the day-to-day that sometimes they either forget or don't take the time to stop and think about how to support the community and other people around us. Not that they don't want to, but that it just isn't in the forefront of their mind. So someone listening to this, is there anything that you might want to share to help educate some of our listeners about what is going on in our community right now? Because I feel like education is the first step.
Oh my gosh, it really is. And I'm glad that you said that, because I can't tell you how many times we've heard someone say, thank you for being the vehicle to this. I've never, like you say, I've been so busy and I've always wanted to give back, but I just haven't. And,
I have to say, Andrea, you guys are incredible at that. I mean, you're amazing at reaching out to people and saying, look at like this. What do you think? Do you want to be part of this? And it just kind of it takes that step away from like having to reach out ourselves and do the research and find, and you guys are so unbelievably welcoming and good at what you do. And not only are you incredible towards the mamas that you're helping, you're incredible and so kind and welcoming to the people that are wanting to be involved. And I just think that is it's so important that I think we point that out about Mamas for Mamas compared to some of the other charities out there, Anyways.
Thank you. That's nice of you to say. I'm going to pass that on to our partnership coordinator, Selena, because she is the one. I know. And she's the one that reaches out to everyone and is she is like the most amazing ambassador for us. And she's just a single mama who doesn't stop. She's amazing. We love her so much.
She is amazing.
So, so, I mean, there's so many things, but, like you said, the mental health piece right now, I mean, outside of COVID, now that we're in COVID and a year in now, the mental health piece of this is very real, and it's pretty bad. Like there's a pretty big crisis going on right now. There's what's hard is all the mamas that we hear from who have an immune compromised child, or they're immune compromised and they don't have a car and they can't get on a bus. So they're really stuck, and they don't, like, maybe they don't have a lot of family here, or, maybe their mother is an addict, for example. So they don't have anyone to lean into. They just have themselves. They're a single mom. They have a few kids and they can't go anywhere because they're so worried that someone's going to get COVID. And so we heard this a lot, and that was really hard. So we actually partnered with a moving company called You Move Me, and they did during COVID, they did two deliveries a week for us. You can believe that?
Wow.
Like all around the Lower Mainland. It was just unbelievable. Like we'll be forever. And they still help us. They just helped move a couch from Kits, actually, all the way to Surrey, to a mama who just left a transition home. She was in an abusive relationship, went to a safe place, and then got her own place.
Wow.
So they moved, they'll go to like lengths for us. And we're just so incredibly grateful.
Yeah.
So that's been really hard for people to be in the depth of that loneliness and also fear, right? Of feeling
this like constant invisible fear. Like it's, yeah.
I know. It adds a whole nother layer.
Yeah. Because, some of the single mamas that we help don't have a relationship with the dad, so the dad isn't in the picture. I mean, it's one thing to be single and to be doing that dance together. It's another thing to be there's just you 24/7 all the time.
Yeah.
And then of course the other thing is the mamas in crisis. So that's where our BC Children's Hospital program comes in. Some of the families live here, but actually most of them don't. They get flown in from wherever around BC, and they're, with the shirts on their back, and their child is very sick or very injured. And they are now faced with this situation where they're living here and they don't have any. And the thing that adds to it is that they might be really low income as well. Mm-hmm. Right. So what we do there is we tend to really just embrace whatever they need. So when we can do like an immediate drop off, like yesterday I went there actually to the hospital and dropped off for two families. So one of the kids has Crohn's and is really, really sick. He's, you guys know what Crohn's is. He's in the hospital and all sorts of tests, and they have no money. And then the other child has sepsis in an area of his body, and it's just been in the hospital for 60 days straight. And his dad, the mom is back home with the kids and the dog, and the dad's living in the hospital with the child. And it's just it's such a stressful time for them too. Yeah. Never mind living in a hospital, but just that worry of your child, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you function raising your other children, knowing your one child's in the hospital and having to leave them? I just can't imagine.
I know. It's and again, COVID's just added this extra layer of stress for all of that, right? Because it's not you can't just go into the hospital. I couldn't even walk into the hospital yesterday. The social worker meets me outside, and it's just, it's been a really, really stressful year in that regard with COVID lurking around. And and then so I would say, and then there's the refugee piece. We help a lot of people who are new to the country, and, it's hard because they don't have a lot of the access to certain resources and funding that we do. So our social worker has been incredible for that. She's really knowledgeable in that department. So she's been able to really help us with that piece. And then the housing crisis that we're in as a whole. So we have a family right now whose house, well, we have a few, but their house that they're renting is sold. And so like, now what do you do?
Yeah.
Where do you go? How do you, even renting is hard, right?
Yeah.
So again, to our social worker, there are options, but I don't know if you guys realize that the wait list for some of these housing is 3 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. First, like co-ops and low-income housing, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So the good news is that there's a lot of noise around this right now, and we're seeing some projects happening. So in 2022, there's going to be 49 of this house and that house, and they're trying. But in the meantime, like, we almost had a mama and her child have to live in their car, which is very possible. It sounds so dramatic, but it's actually real life, because there's no money to pay for the rent, right? Like, you're cozy and comfy in your life, and you have this rent and your budget and all the things, and then boom, now that sells. So you have to move. So where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And so thankfully we were able to our social worker was able to find them housing. So that was unbelievable.
Wow.
Such a relief. But these are some of the crises that people are in right now.
Oh my gosh. How do you not just want to take everybody home with you?
I know.
Right?
Well, yeah, I know. Okay. So truth be told, we are manifesting a mansion.
Okay. I love it.
I love this.
If there's anyone listening out there that has like Oprah Winfrey kind of money.
I think
I'm not kidding you guys.
No, I know. That brings me to my next question. What do you guys need right now? Like, say we have somebody that's listening that has a ton of money that is looking for something to, give back to, what are some things that you guys need right now?
The first thing that comes to my mind is that we are moving. Our leases for our office space is up next February. But as you guys know, you've been there. It's very small. It's very cute, but it's tiny, and we don't have any storage. We don't have a warehouse. The warehouse in the back doesn't belong to us. Okay. So we have this tiny little corner where we can fit a few boxes, and we have storage units around the Lower Mainland, thank goodness, and my garage and stuff. But
you need a warehouse.
We need an office. We're moving to Surrey.
I'm laughing because my husband sells warehouses. So I'm like, okay, I'll get him on that job.
No way. Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny. Yes.
Yeah.
So this is our ideal scenario, an office in Surrey-ish, like Surrey area, south, north, whatever. That's like huge, like way bigger than we have now, with a warehouse in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is what we're trying to manifest. So,
So we, just for our listeners, we've had the privilege of coming to your office, and you walk in and there's a beautiful little like lounge area and reception area. And then there's a few small rooms that are just like full of stuff that you've, that's been donated for the mamas to come
from businesses and from people.
Yes.
Other people,
to come and shop in the Karma Market. But I can imagine if you had a warehouse, you could accept more donations and things too, right?
Oh my gosh, it would be life-changing for us. Like right now in our office, like in my office in the back, there's boxes everywhere, there's diapers everywhere. I mean, it's funny, but at the end of the day, to be super productive, like to be able to really dive into work and and then we have a closet where we keep all of our food. So there's always people coming in and out getting stuff for clients and stuff. So we just laugh, but no, truth be told, like we would love to have like an actual office, like where I have my own office, Chelsea has hers, Anna has hers. Like we can really just, get work done.
Are you all just sharing that little front room area where is that where you guys are all? Yeah.
Well, the joke is, we all work from home a few days a week, and it's here's the thing. It's beautiful to be in the office because like the other day, we I got to sit down and have a conversation with someone, this grandma who's taken in her grandbaby because her daughter is going through some mental health stuff right now. And, you know, we really get to sit down and get into that world with them, like with those clients. And we all love that so much. That's what it's all about, right? Mm-hmm. But when we're at home, we get a lot of work done. So that's how we manage our lives. We go into the office and get to be in that energy with the clients and meet people like you and accept those donations. And then we also work from home some days too. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how you balance
it's good.
it. Yeah.
It's a good balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so that would, and then yes, a mansion would be nice, like a 20,000 square foot mansion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where we can take people in, like you say, like,
yeah.
oh,
yeah.
We always joke about that.
Yeah.
Joking, not joking, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Oh my gosh.
So, but no, seriously, let's get back to what else? What else? So if people are wanting to help, let's go from like big to small. What can people do? Because I know I have so many friends who now have heard that we're helping out with Mamas for Mamas, and they're going, well, what can we do? And I know the last time we were in, you guys, said, you know, because of COVID, you have to be careful about clothes and stuff. So you have to be pretty picky about what comes in as far as that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go ahead.
I mean, the reality is that monetary donations are always probably number one because of the different avenues that we can help mamas in that situation. So for example, we have recently paid someone's hydro bill, right? Because their heat is getting shut off because they can't afford. And the reason why is I won't get into because it's really actually quite awful, the reason why, but there was something happened with the ex and the whole thing. So it's not like, I just want people to know that it's not that these people are lazy or, you know, they're you know, relying on other people to, you know, get them through life. It's almost always, there's always trauma there. Always. 100% of the time, actually. Whether it was from when they were 2 or whether it was from last week. So in our mission to kind of do that hand up, not that hand out piece, the monetary donations really allow us to do that. So we can say, okay, so you have to move May 1st and you can't afford to pay your rent for these reasons. So then maybe we can help pay the rent, get them back on their feet, and just give that little, like, you can think of a time in your life where someone showed up for you when you needed it the most, whatever that might be. It really does make such a huge difference in your overall well-being and that empowerment. Like, okay, someone is helping me. I got this. I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that?
You don't feel alone.
Yeah. And also, like, we believe in you. Like, we know that you're going to be okay because we're going to help you and we're going to get you all these resources and you got this, right? You can do this. And so, having those words of affirmation coming from someone is really important because maybe their whole life they didn't hear that. Maybe their whole life they heard that they were good enough, right? And so that cycle needs to be broken, and we try to do that. We try to come in and make these mamas feel like they're beautiful and they're brave and they're smart and they can do this. So that would be my short answer. The monetary donations are always amazing for those reasons. So we can really utilize those funds in so many different areas. Yeah.
That's amazing.
You know? Yeah. No, and I love, you know, what you kept saying in the other podcast that you did was that it's about building this community around this mama, the mama that comes in and needs the help, and that you really all just embrace her and you lean in and you show her that you care and that she's worthy of having this hand up, not this hand out, which I love that you guys is your sort of philosophy. And, I mean, I guess, I don't know where I was going to go there, but for instance, like I was talking with my mother-in-law, and I know like there's so many retired women out there too, that both my mom and my mother-in-law is a social worker who works with adoption. And so on both ends, has worked with the families who are adopting or looking to adopt, as well as the mothers who are giving their child up for adoption. And she's totally in this place right now where she's retired. She doesn't want to go back to work, but she wants to use her skills in some way to help or volunteer. And I know, and then there's my mom who I know, she teaches children with learning differences. And so, and she's retired. And so she's, thinking, oh my gosh, how could I donate my time? I mean, there's kids out there that I'm sure could use some help with their schooling, and I can show them all these little tricks and spend some time with them. And I don't know, is that something that, like, are you guys looking for volunteers that way, or is it mostly what you're talking about as far as monetary stuff goes and, donations?
Well, yeah, it would depend on what the person was wanting to do, because we have quite a few volunteers, but they all, we have a couple drivers, right? So they'll do driving around deliveries. We have a couple mamas who, come into our office, once a week, right? So we've got a schedule. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and they help out in the office for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Then we have, resource coordinators in each city, right? Who help with resources and connecting all the people on the Facebook pages and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So there are opportunities for that for sure. It would just depend. I would say our website has a volunteer application. Yeah. So for anyone that wants to be an official volunteer, they would just go online and they would fill out the application forms, and then a criminal record check is done. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you can be in front of a client, for example. Like, you could come into the office and, train with us and walk around with the clients and stuff. Until then, you would be allowed to be around clients necessarily. But maybe someone would want to help out at an event or something with us, right? Or maybe someone would want to sponsor a family. Some people, like to donate money, and they can go online and they can do that monthly. So they can do like a monthly automatic donation. Yeah. Other people really like to know where the money is actually going, right? Mm-hmm. So they could sponsor a family once a month, like do like $100 or $200 gift card to Superstore or Walmart for a family, and they would know the family's situation and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, it just really depends on the person, and what they're kind of looking to do.
Yeah. Well, and we were talking about how, everybody wants to do stuff at Christmas time. Yeah. But you need it throughout the year. And we were also just saying the summer is a time where kids are out of school and parents are now left to figure out childcare. And so do you guys have any plans for that?
Well, we were thinking a lot about I was thinking about summer because I'm a teacher, and I was thinking about my own kids, and I'm like, oh gosh, my husband's working from home right now. I'm going to be home with the kids all summer. How is he going to work? Like that, in this whole situation, and hopefully things will be better by the summer. Like, we see a light now, things are sort of on the ups, hopefully, but we don't really know what's going to happen. And so we were talking about, we're so fortunate to be able to be home with our kids in the summer, but other people who still need to work or don't have childcare when school's done during a pandemic, and you can't have family support, and day camps are expensive, and not everything is running the same as normal. Yeah. And anyway, I was talking out loud, but these are things that we were chatting about, how can we help those families that
surviving?
That are going to need help in the summer when they don't have the school system.
I know. And that's a really real struggle. And actually, we have a couple ideas that we're going to be talking about next week for summer, because we did some spring break campers. So how that works is that we reach out to some schools in low income pockets around the Lower Mainland, and we talk to the principal, and we say, okay, can you pick X amount of families for these hampers. And it takes them no time at all to pick the families, because the reality is in these schools, like it's almost everyone. But so they choose like the 25 most in need families at that time. And then we drop off 25 hampers for them full of food and, you know, certain things like that. So that's fine for spring break, but for the summer, like you say, it's so long. So we're coming up with some ideas on how to support some families through the summer. It's a very overwhelming thing. And as far as like, so it's one thing for us to help with food, because as you know, like a lot of the schools, they have some amazing programs, breakfast program, lunch program, and stuff like that. Yeah. But when they're not in school, they don't have, it's very hard on some of these families to feed their kids. So we can help with that. But the childcare piece is a whole other game. I don't think that a lot, like I know that a lot of the families that we help, the mamas don't work. At the moment, their kids are too little. Like, as you know, it's, you know, we're supporting one mama who's working just to pay for her daughter's daycare. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's it. So and I respect that, because she's trying to keep that job and she likes it, but the money's not great. So she's just paying for her child to be in daycare. So. And daycare. Yeah. That's a whole other. That's a whole other conversation. I know. The cost of childcare. Yeah. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's a real struggle. So the summer is something that we're going to focus on this year, probably more than we have ever, I think. Yeah. Yeah. And have some programs, maybe sponsor a family through the summer, which is only 2 months, right? So for someone who has some extra income, they could, like, $200 a month to some people is literally nothing. So we're going to talk about that kind of coming up soon. Cool. We'll keep us through Mother's Day. Yeah, absolutely. We will definitely share. I think it's such a nice thing to kind of try and become a new thing, instead of just all this focus on Christmas. Let's give it back at Christmas time. Yes. How can we, so we're coming up to another kind of season where people need help again, you know? And so how can we figure out a way to give back and and help? Exactly. Yeah. Well, so stay tuned for that. Absolutely. Well, put us on the list, because whatever we can do to help. We never really talked too much about how we became involved with Mamas for Mamas, but wonderful Selena reached out to us just to see if we would want to get involved with our candles and with our candle and flower company. And it's been so nice to just have that connection with you guys. And we're hoping to do another sort of push again. We had a really, really good response for the first couple weeks, and things have slowed down a bit, but our candles are still out and ready to be, they're on the shelf. Yeah. They're the perfect Mother's Day present. Yeah. Ready to be purchased. They really are. We're hoping to do another little Mother's Day put together a basket push. So we would love to, donate a couple baskets for mamas, and whichever way we can get involved in that. And do you guys have any plans as far as Mother's Day goes, or any events happening? Yeah. Well, yes, we have an idea of what we want to do for Mother's Day this year, but it's going to look a little different. COVID just needs to go away. I know. Last year, we had the most incredible Mother's Day event planned, and it was going to be outdoors in a farm, and we were going to have like a big limousine and makeup artists and hair and the whole thing. And, we had to obviously cancel it. So we did an outdoor event at a church parking lot, and we had all these tables set up and a big balloon display and everything. And then each table had a whole bunch of product on it, like self-care stuff and all sorts of different things, food. And then we had a whole bunch of diapers. So there was 50 mamas that could sign up, and then you would come and we would give you a bag and you could walk along, and, and it was a beautiful day. And then, so it was good. Yeah. It was a fun event. But so this year I don't want to say exactly yet, but we're going to do something. It looks like with mamas who have fled an abusive relationship. So we're going to kind of zone in on them and do some stuff for them. So, and then maybe next year we can have a big thing. We can have a big party.
For sure, for sure.
So, and I just want to say,
you go ahead. Sorry,
I just want to say, like, as much as, like, obviously, the monetary donations are always good and gift cards and stuff like that. It's amazing, like, how people love, like, our clients love to just even get a candle. Like, everyone's like, oh, really?
Aww.
I love candles. Thank you. Like, they get so excited. Yeah. So I just hope people know that by donating scrunchies and, candles and makeup and hairbrushes and all that stuff, all that stuff makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference. Like, if even for us, like, on a day where you feel like crap and you're like, just down in the dumps, it's been a really hard day, and something little like putting on some makeup or, getting your hair done. I know you guys have that program as well where mamas can get their hair done. Things like that, like, just make you feel so much better and more empowered, right?
Yeah. So, exactly. It's a bath bomb, right?
Yeah. Well, and what I love about Mamas for Mamas is they make it for businesses. You guys have made it so easy for people to just start with something small. And that's what, for Stina and I, it was like, what do we have to lose? Of course we want to be part of this. And we chose the buy one, give one. So when somebody buys a candle, we donate on their behalf a candle to Mamas for Mamas. Yeah. But could you just really quickly walk us through some of the ways that businesses can set up a donation situation for themselves and Mamas for Mamas?
Yeah, so there's lots of ways. Actually, what you guys do is a great idea. I love that buy one give one. There are a roundup. So say if you had a store, for example, like in December, a lot of stores do this for us, where you get your items, you go up to the till, and then they ask you if you want to round up for Mamas for Mamas, and then right, and so that's another way. Another thing that some people do is a percentage of sales for, say, a month. So say from April 1st to May 1st, 15% of sales are going to Mamas for Mamas. You could do it that way. We just had a law firm in Vancouver do a 50-50 raffle for us.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was all within the firm.
Yeah.
And like family, I guess, and friends. It was kept quite close to them, but they managed to raise $2,400.
Wow, that's great.
And for that was half for the 50-50. So that was really, really cool. And then of course, the physical donations. So like if people have extra stock of something or whatever, they want to kind of donate, that's always nice too. We can fill our Karma Market shelves with all that good self-care stuff. Yeah. I think that would pretty much answer the question. It's about getting creative sometimes, don't you think? Like just totally. Trying to come up with ways to give back. And there's, like I said, the roundup way is great because it's like,
it's such an easy way to, like, I'm just thinking we should just do that on our website easily. And then how easy, every time I go to the grocery store, of course I want to round up and give Children's Hospital.
I know, right?
How can you say no to that, So,
it's a win-win for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so
I think we've covered everything. The only one thing is that I guess I'm still unclear, like for like, say, I have so many things like toys and stuff. You guys are right now, you have to be careful with COVID. So you're right now, you're kind of not taking, unless they're new, right? Just for the listeners. To be clear.
It's also an issue of space at our office too. Right. So we just don't have the space for a lot of stuff. So that's where our Facebook chapters come in. So for anyone who has stuff that they want to donate, they could post it up on the Facebook page of the city that they live in. Or they could call us or email us and say, hey, I have a brand new mirror. I don't know, from HomeSense or whatever that might be. I thought it was going to work in my house, but it won't. So yeah, we are picky right now just because we have to be with COVID and with our space, but that's not to say that we won't take it.
So still reach out to you guys and check it no matter what. And, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But if it's stuff that if it's a bunch of little baby clothes or used, I would say probably go to the Facebook page first and then, and see if you can get it up there.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we just think what you guys are doing is absolutely incredible. We are so grateful to have connected with you. And we think all you mamas working at the office are just amazing. Everything you're doing your hearts are so big. And our biggest goal with our podcast and everything we do is to build community and to support each other. And I feel like that's exactly what you guys are doing. And we're so grateful to be a part of it. And we just hope that today we can spread some of this knowledge and information with our listeners, whether it's a mama listening being like, oh man, I could really use a hand up right now, or if it's another mama listening saying, oh man, I really want to help somebody right now. I hope that they've got some ideas from listening today. And we so appreciate your time and for being here and all the stories and information and hard work that you're putting into this organization.
Thank you for what you do. All of you. Yeah.
Well, thank you for all the support. We truly could not do this without people like you. So thank you for trusting in us and believing in what we do. It's really amazing.
It's amazing. Well, thank you so much for being here today, and we will talk to you again very soon.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye. Thanks so much for joining us today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Spotify or any of the places you like to listen to podcasts. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Mindful Mummies or check out our blog at themindfulmummies.com.
Did you know that Stina and I have officially opened up our very own online store called Hygge Space? Hygge, spelled Hygge, is a Danish and Norwegian word that has no direct translation to English. It is more than a word or a thing, it is a feeling. The feeling of Hygge encompasses many things, including family, friends, being together, making connections, traditions, making small moments special, coziness, love, being present, and connections with nature and each other. Both Stina and I share a passion for Hygge, as it is a practice that was taught to us by our grandparents and parents, and we continue to share it with our families and friends today. We believe that Hygge is the perfect way to connect, be present, and get cozy during these busy and sometimes stressful times. Our hope is to help others bring Hygge into their homes and experience the feelings of warmth, peace, and comfort it can bring. Visit our online store at hyggespace.com, spelled HYGGESPACECO.com, or follow us at Hyggespace on Instagram to see our collection of luxury candles, everlasting floral arrangements, and home decor.